obviously the importance of shifting the direction regarding how you use energy at the schools, particularly really opening up the sort of the floodgates, if you will, when it comes to clean energy sources.
They should all be green. They should all be green. Sure. They should all be harvesting rainwater. They should all be having community gardens. All of these schools should be part of like municipal sustainability.
Don't forget that wonderful company, nonprofit that's based in Hollywood called Renewable. Not sure if you guys are familiar with that one or not, but they do composting, really awesome job, and they're partnering up with schools.
But that's the kind of stuff we need in our schools. We need them to be green when they're being renovated, when they're being built, green.
So your thoughts, both of you guys.
I agree. And I've said everywhere that I've been where I've been asked this question about how we can make our schools more eco-friendly. And really, the governor believes in indoctrination. I believe in teachings that are important to the narrative of where we are today in modern society. In order for us to make sure that our students who are going to be mostly impacted by climate change, that they are aware of how to self-govern themselves when they're out of schools. So I often say, as a student who knew what our schools look like today, we have recycling bins at our schools and paper straws, but how many people actually know what to do with the recycling bin? I think it starts at the school level in investing in and putting more money into the student organizations on campus that are invested in climate change and that are invested in living a green life. Second, I think there needs to be more literature out on the district's part to make sure that our community is in line with what it is that we are trying to do. And that is having eco-friendly community. And then 3 and 4 are simple. In most modern school districts across the nation, they've already moved to solar energy and solar panels as their way of having energy in the schools. And number one, that reduces costs that we pay on electricity. So now we're going to find more money in the budget because we have sustainable action plans. And then number two, they also shows our students the proper way to live going forward. And then the last thing I'd say is that all the district vehicles that we have today, if we cut those out and put electric cars, we're also going to find another way to cut back on costs of what we pay on gasoline and mileage. And so those are important ways, important steps, and important policies that we can begin to put in place just to get the ground going on this issue.
Rod, your thoughts. Get in there, brother.
For me, on that, when I met Jen probably maybe 2 years ago now, I first saw her in Liberia, and it was a garden that the community was trying to put together. But unfortunately, something happened and it didn't sustain due to certain reasons. But anyway, I learned permaculture at that time. For me, I had no idea, and I was probably 50 back then, a couple of years ago. I wish I was Raymond's age again sometimes, but
I wish I was younger. I wish I was 12 again.
So I met Jen and Mona Lisa Weber out there, and she taught me about permaculture, and I was pretty impressed. When she showed me how to use it and how to do it, because you plant certain plants next to each other, and you have its own little ecosystem, with self-mulching and all that. I mean, we can be here probably for hours talking about this. It's some of the schools have it, but I think since Broward County, we're the largest employer in Broward County with 30,000 employees, and we have, thousands of acres of land. I don't see why we can't just utilize some of these vacant lots and have our own sustaining gardens set up, and we can start feeding the kids in our own schools and save money. It's crazy that our government, allows all of these things to be put into our foods, processed foods. And it's crazier that healthy food costs more than the cheaper food. That's not good for you. There's something wrong with that. It should be cheaper to have the healthier food. And, I know it's not as profitable for some people, and that's where it comes into. So, horticulture, permaculture, all of those things, self-sustainability, that's something that I teach my Boy Scouts. We try to live off the land when we're camping. I'd love to have that AC when we're out there, but unfortunately we can't. So, some of the things in life.
Really not that great. I got to tell you, camping in Florida is a little roasty.
Yeah, it's a little bad, but we just got to do a better job of teaching these kids, how to be self-sustainable. And, the plastics and the styrofoams. I know City of Hollywood has a ban now, and they're working on the straws. They're doing the lights for the turtles on the beach. There's a lot, but we have to teach these kids when they're young, because once they get into middle and high school, it's not impossible, but it's just so much harder. That's what I love about Raymond. He's so young and he's a big sponge, and he's still smart, but he's not corrupted, which is a good thing. So like me, I'm 52, but I'm fresh in the system. I'm not corrupted. I don't have all of these things of people that have been around for 20 years. So I come in with a fresh perspective and a clean slate, so that's why I have people,
And you know what, Jen, I'd actually like to.
Is Hallandale High, what district is that in district?
Hallandale High is a magnet. Yeah, it's a magnet school, and that's falling apart.
But is it in your district?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's where the community garden is now, is at Hallandale High School.
Right. Yeah.
And Jen, I wanted to get on this while we're talking about candidates that have been corrupted and that are in the same circles that contribute directly to the problems we have here in Broward County. Two of my opponents, one, Donna, I don't have to say much on her because there's a 150-page grand jury that speaks for me on that issue and speaks for the things that she has done that has put us and voters across this district in that predicament. But I want to spend a bit of time on Alan. He jumped in the race. I just checked his fundraising report again, or it was brought to my attention that once again, he put another $80,000 of his personal money into a school board race, trying to buy a seat and buy support. That is so inappropriate. That is the reason we have these issues in Broward. It's because we have people that have PACs, people that have money, people that have big followings that are taking money for support and giving it back. That is completely disgusting and unacceptable. But you know what makes me different, Jen? Is number one, unlike another opponent of mine, Donna, who got a $1,000 check from the district's project manager, I am the only candidate that doesn't have donations like that. I'm the only candidate in my race that is not endorsed by big establishment figures. And more importantly, I'm the only candidate in my race that hasn't raised over $20,000 because I have a grassroots campaign that is winning the hearts of Broward County the fair way and the equitable way. And that's what Rod's doing too in his race. He has worked for everything he's got to this point, and so have I. At the beginning of my race, they told me to drop out. They told me I had to be a great lawyer at the NAACP. I said no. I answered the call, right? A little racist, Peter, I know. But I said no. I answered the call to serve my community, and so far my community is showing up and turning out the vote for me.
Okay, but you do know who is the best attorney at the NAACP, right? I
don't.
You do.
Thurgood Marshall. Okay. I thought we were talking presently.
I'm just saying that it is somewhat a compliment. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, trust me, the way it was being presented to him
was condescending.
Was not a compliment, and it was belittling.
Okay.
So that is what it is. And I must say that I think the two of you actually have, maybe being biased here, but I don't think so. I think you two have the best marketing branding concepts that are out there.
You mean like real people and not corporate whores?
The A+ for Adderly and right there.
And by the way, the fact that Florida does alphabetical order is definitely in Raymond's favor. Let's say that.
Well, that's not good.
No, it doesn't. We take the wins where we get them. But the reality is Rod's been sitting in the back because of his last name for his whole life, probably. So it is what it is.
Well, he ain't sitting in the back of the bus, though. He's driving the bus.
I'm driving the bus right now. I'm getting ready to drop signs off and T-shirts and reading material and everything. So
that's another reason he's a great choice for the school board. He knows what it's like to drive a bus.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.